Hello. Frequently, we get asked about the altar. We've tried to describe it physically. We've shown a few of you personally in the past at various times. And because we've got a couple of new people beginning, uh, we decided now that we have this wonderful go-to-meeting stuff and these beautiful video abilities, to go ahead and actually make a video of an altar. Right now, you're looking at a series of cards that you might say actually represent the making of a high priestess. Absolutely recommend it. See it right there in them last three cards? This automatic zoom camera is sort of fun. If you haven't met her already, I would like everyone to meet my high priestess Agnes over here. See, she's sort of a cutie. She's working on it anyway. As the camera goes in there, I'll move this way and you'll be able to see the altar itself right there. The first thing you need to realize are the things we use in the altar. Isn't that nice? That's a painting by Kayla, right there behind her. The first thing we use 7 candles. Actually 8 if you count the white one. The candles are arranged in a 6-pointed star. We call it a Hermetic star. You could call it the Star of David. The green is in the center, the red's in the front, and the indigo is all the way up at the top. You'll see this as we go through the process. So the candles themselves represent the fire principle. And then for making sound, Augusta prefers to use a crystal bell. And then for the air principle, there, and then for the earth principle, we use incense, and the incense we use is this high-end red sandalwood, but you can even use a stick. Sandalwood is better than the other, but even stick or cone incense is fine. But we use this in a relatively nice incense burner. This nice incense burner. She doesn't have the lid on it. There she goes. And we use that incense burner there. And then, of course, we have the chalice. And our chalices are made of wood. They're very, hold that up a little closer, please, honey. There, see, ours are made of wood. That's olive wood. You wish to say something, my lady.
All of this is, the camera's too far away for them to see.
No, they're getting it. It's coming out fine. This is better than writing it down. And also, usually, when you're doing an altar, it's not required, particularly when you're doing it in the morning like this. We use a drink that in the community we call a godmother. It is a combination of frangelica and vodka. And it's a little pricey, and you definitely don't want to drink it too much when you don't need it, because it is extremely intoxicating. Now, what Augusta does is, particularly on her morning one, she will either use water or a cup of coffee and add 1 capful of both the vodka and frangelica in order to maintain the ritual, but keep it very weak. This morning, for the sake of this demonstration, she's actually using water. So it's about 90% water. But still following that precept. Then she places it back there. The next thing she will do, when she gets comfortable here, the next thing she will do is she will take a jar of rosemary. This is an absolutely optional thing. But she will begin on her left side on her forehead, and she will make that pentagram. that we'll be using throughout. And you have to remember, we deal with fire, air, earth, and water. Now, it doesn't matter if you go fire, water, earth, and air, whatever. We like ending with water because it's very important when you're doing this that drink you make in your chalice has to last through the entire 7 power centers. But at the end, it has to be all gone. So if you take a little teeny sip, then you may end up with a great big drink at the end. But if you take a great big drink at the front, you may end up running out before the end, and you don't want to do that because it negates the principle. So one of the first things you want to realize is when we deal with the pentagram, you have to excuse me, I'm trying to hold the camera and gab at the same time, is your process always goes, you can do it, from the lower left hip up to the right shoulder, over to the left shoulder, down to the right hip, up to your head, and back down to the left hip. That's the pentagram. That's the Hermetic pentagram you're using during the altar. And basically what you'd be doing is when you're first starting, you would be surrendering the energy to your elemental so that your elemental may achieve contact and assist you in achieving contact with your higher self or spirit body. Now, many of you do not have an elemental. It's irrelevant. Pick one. Make a name. Make a name. Give the contact point a name. Remember, it should end in an A, Al, consciousness. If you want to pick your name, if you go back in the blog and go over all the letters and cards, you will see what the various letters mean. So you can turn around and take a concept of fertilizing an uncultivated field in order to produce consciousness. In other words, create your name. Common names, beautiful names that we have. Augusta, Kayla, Tanya, Layla, Brianna. These are wonderful, powerful names. And so you want to pick yourself a name. So what we're going to do right now, normally, as long as the inside temperature was correct and everything, Augusta would be doing this in the nude. It does not matter if you wear a robe or something, no. But if you're by yourself and you have that mirror back up there, in the nude sometimes helps. One might also realize that Augusta wears this absolutely beautiful cross that she was awarded as she achieved her consciousness. It's a gold cross with a 6.5 carat ruby in it. That is also very capable of being used as the earth principle. So anyway, Augusta is now going to begin, and I will describe what she is doing as she is doing this. Right now, she is lighting the charcoal. See, she lights this charcoal, and it's going to take it a few minutes to get hot enough. It can be cut in half, and then it lasts a lot longer. She's using a whole one today because this is going to take considerably longer than usual. Augusta can do an altar in 10 to 15 minutes. Today we're taking a little more time so we can describe it to you.
Mention the lighters.
The lighters that have a long stick on the end, like you use for lighting your outside charcoal barbecue pit or your fireplace, much more effective than this little one we're using right now. But ours just ran out, so it's in the trash can and we're using the regular one, which was rather hard to come up with since I quit smoking. She's now placing the charcoal in the burner. And while that gets itself going, she will light the white candle. She's also showing you a stick of incense. And you can use that stick incense. See how she's doing the pentagram? She's showing you the process. This is done. Fire, earth, air, and water, or fire, air, earth, and water. It does not matter. We prefer, for your sake, that you begin with fire and end with water, but you can change the earth and air principle. Sometimes by changing them, and as you get better at it, you'll realize that sometimes by changing them, you can actually change the influence of the altar. The same with the arrangement of the candles. While you are going to go first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh power centers, or chakras if you prefer, at the beginning, by changing the arrangement of the candles, you can also change the influences a little bit. But that's in a more advanced state. For the present time, as long, on the present one, as you can see, on the right-hand side, we have the blue and the yellow. On the left-hand side, we have the purple and orange. But that can be inverted. It doesn't matter. It is basically irrelevant. But the indigo must be at the top, closest to the mirror, and the red must be by you. I will say at this point that Augusta, now on her normal altar, has the entire thing inverted, where she actually begins with the indigo, because she is now constantly pulling higher self down, and this is what allowed her to develop her auric vision and telepathy so well in such a short time. I have to say that is the first time in my existence that I have seen anyone do so dramatically well to actually complete this process in just over 6 months. So we have a rather exceptional priestess here. Okay, so now she will begin, and she's just going to go on her own, and I will describe things as she begins. Right now, she's taking the red candle. Now, see, that is the first power center. That's your grounding center. That's Malkuth. And she's taking that seat. She's going down her left hip, up to her right shoulder, over to her left shoulder, down to her right hip, and up to her head, and then back down to the left. And what she was doing, what you would be doing when you were doing this, I would be surrendering all the energy of the fire principle of my first power center to my elemental. In her case, it was Augusta, so that I may achieve contact with higher self. Now she's doing air the same way with the bell. See? Now you can use one of the little ding-a-ling symbols, a little horn, anything you want. But that same pentagram, left, right, up, down, surrendering. Fire, earth, air, and water, everyone. See, right now she's doing the earth with the incense. And really very simple. And now she's doing the water principle. That's her godmother. See, she's doing left hip, right shoulder, left shoulder, right hip, up to her head, back down to her left hip to finish the surrender. And she's surrendering the water principle, her elemental, to achieve contact with higher self. If she does this, she's going to continue to proceed doing exactly the same process. See, right now she's lighting the orange candle, that's second power center, chakra if you prefer, and she's doing fire. And then she will do air, earth, and water. And she will continue this process all the way through the seventh power center, or the indigo one, higher self if you prefer. Once this entire process is completed, it is important that you do not blow out the candles. Either put them out with your fingers or use a snuffer. So It is irrelevant whether you put them out with your fingers or a snuffer. It's fun to do it with your fingers as you learn how to control that pleasure pain thing. But with these big candles, we use a snuffer because it's hard to reach down inside. Augusta just dropped hers. But anyway, this is how we do it. If there are any questions whatsoever, we've had 4 of you now ask the exact process. And so this is why we're doing this. So you see the exact process. See, now she's doing the water for the second power center. And you do the entire process all the way through the steps. I hope this was informative. Once again, I'll show you these beautiful cards. Representation of her completion. A little focus problem here. Hopefully it's supposed to auto do it. There we go. So I hope this was helpful. If not, please don't hesitate to email or comment or ask questions, and we will get you the rest of the way. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful life.